Speaking of hurricane season, yes, as you mentioned, it officially started in Hawaii, with June marking the first start of that season. Now, joining me now is Matthew Wells, the Regional Communications Director for the American Red Cross. Good morning. How are you? So
Good morning.
What can families do to prepare for hurricanes or any other disasters?
Well, there's three things to remember that we consider being Red Cross ready. That's get a kit, make a plan, and be informed. It's the easiest way to remember it.
So what items should be in that kit when people are preparing?
Right. Well, the big obvious ones that everyone thinks of first are, of course, food, water, clothing, and these days, cell phones with chargers. I'd freak out if I didn't have mine. So that's all great. But it's also important to remember the things that might not jump to mind really quickly. Believe it or not, medication is often forgotten, pet supplies, and this is one, having cash on hand. In a lot of disasters, ATM machines and credit card readers aren't going to be functioning. So really, it's important to have cash.
So anything else that people should consider for their emergency plans when they're thinking about the emergency before it actually happens?
Sure, that would be getting the entire family involved. It's really important. Practicing maybe twice a year. It's amazing how many people believe they know what they're going to do in a disaster, but in the moment find, oh, I didn't think of this. So it's important that everyone has a role. If they do, that can make your plan much more efficient. And then giving the sense of responsibility can actually help people focus and remember everything that needs to be done.
So what can people do to help the Red Cross as far as in terms of disaster?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are just so dedicated to this mission of helping their neighbors, and we want to support that. And the Red Cross is always looking for volunteers to train in disaster response. The two major categories that we're looking for right now are people who can work in shelters during a disaster, which could mean hunkering down for up to 5 days, should that be required. The other category that we're really looking for are health service professionals. Those are critical as far as dealing in-person healthcare checkups, both mental and physical health.
So where should people go to get more information?
Sure. The best place for all of this, because I know I throw a lot of information out, is redcross.org/Hawaii. That's where you can go to find emergency kit and preparedness checklists. We also have links there so that you can sign up for classes that teach first aid, CPR, AED uses. And of course, there's links to download the Red Cross apps, and those provide disaster news alerts and more. So we try and keep everything centralized for you so it's as easy as possible.
So some final tips for people as they get ready for hurricane season and just for any other types of disasters that may come up.
It's really, the best tip is that think about these things on a day like today, where the sky is blue and it's just a nice day, nothing to worry about. It's really now that you need to set all the plans in motion so that when the moment comes, you don't find yourself having missed the chance to prepare, so that you aren't caught unaware. I know a disaster will strike very quickly, but there is a way to be prepared, and there is a way to handle, and there is a way to survive.
And speaking of being prepared, how big is the need actually for the Red Cross for volunteers?
The need is that we always need more. That's the big issue. We always need more because you can never tell what's going to happen, right? That's the nature of a disaster. And we want to make sure that enough people are trained just across the island, whether it's for the Red Cross, that you know exactly what you need to do for your household to stay safe in a disaster. And we are happy to provide training for that.
Okay. And so is there like a checklist that people should look to in terms of a disaster and being prepared?
Yeah, definitely the checklist for creating an emergency kit. And you can find that again at redcross.org/Hawaii. That's to help you set up everything that could be in a go bag. We want you to think about certain things as well. How to protect your home, whether or not you need to leave your home. And then if you're going to leave your home, how does that change what your emergency kit and supplies should be? If you're going to shelter in place at home, you should have maybe about 2 weeks worth of supplies. If you're going to go to a congregate shelter, like a Red Cross shelter, then you might want to look at more like 4 to 7 days is what you should be considering.
Well, mahalo for all that great information. Thank you for joining us this morning. And